I know it's a tough question, but is Jey Uso gonna become the new, aka the modern Dolph Ziggler? Because this man just won the Fatal 4-Way match at the main event of Raw to go for the Intercontinental Championship against Braun Strowman, the badass, basically the new Bill Goldberg or whatever you may want to call him. Is he really gonna beat Braun Breaker? I don't see it happening. Not anytime soon. But at the same time, Braun Breaker is the same dude who, for no reason, just lost to Sami Zayn in his debut pay-per-view match, which was one of the dumbest booking decisions of all time. So I wouldn't put it past the WWE to do that to Braun Breaker, but for some reason, they also hate Jey Uso. I mean, they plaster him over all the posters and they give him so many wins that will set up meaningful wins, but then when we get to that meaningful part, he just loses, much like Dolph Ziggler. So I'm beginning to get scared, because if he loses this match against Braun Breaker and then maybe this similar situations happens a couple more times, I mean, who's to say I'm wrong when I call him the modern day Dolph Ziggler? Anytime this guy has a big shot, he just fumbles it and he loses it. He's never been a United States champion, an Intercontinental champion, only tag team. And we'll talk about him a bit more, man. We'll talk about him a bit more by the end of this video, because today we're going to talk about Monday Night Raw, which a lot happened in the show because it's 3 freaking hours, but not for long, which is I'm pleased to be able to say that this show is going back to 2 hours after so many years. It felt impossible with Nick Khan and the way he taught about everything. It's just so good. But here we have the American Alpha, and I guess the only nice thing I can say about this match is that I dig this whole vibe. Chad Gable looks badass. He still gets to use suck chants, and I hope the guy behind him, I cannot remember his name for the life of me, the guy who said Bailey and someone also had a big booty and said, whoa, chill. You guys know who I'm talking about. I hope he gets to show his personality more. Ivy Nile, honestly, I never cared for her at all, but I gotta say, this look that she got going on right now, it looks kind of badass, so I'll give her that. But this match was a fun match, but I felt like a bit of an exhibition match with no strings attached. I mean, just think back for a second. How did these guys make their first appearance or reappearance for most of them on the main roster? They killed, quote unquote, destroyed people backstage so bad that some of them looked like they were dead. Then nothing happened. They never got arrested. They never got a pushback for that. Other superstars or wrestlers, when they do stuff, they get chastised or they get fined, aka Drew McIntyre, for example, gets punished for it. These guys can just kill a couple of people backstage, absolutely fine. This story makes no sense at all, and the fact that they are feuding with American Made just makes them look super small time. Like, this is the type of feud you would do after having an amazing run and you're about to break up this stable, right? And so things are winding down. So let's get a couple of more random matches in. This is not your first feud. If you want to put this team over or this stable over as anything, that's too big. So if you're a fan of this niche of creepy stuff, which I am not, I guess you'll love it. It just doesn't work for me. You know what I mean? If you booked The Undertaker like this, we wouldn't be having the legendary, WrestleMania streak and everything like that. I just fail to see it. And Chad Gable to me is a welcome disappointment as well. Not because of his own fault, but because they didn't even put this guy on WrestleMania. And ever since that, for Chad Gable stuff, I've been on autopilot. And ever since the first or the second week with this Wyatt 6 storyline, when I saw that they're actually not going to do anything of substance or big, which is a huge problem in WWE in general anyways, I've also put these guys on the back burner, sort of the autopilot mode, because if they do something important, then I'll care about it. Then I'll get excited about it. This was a fun match, but like I said, it was an exhibition. And it was a pretty long match too, but it only has 13 pictures. Whatever. Finn Balor came out here, man. I hope sometime soon he goes back to his old variation of his old theme. His new Judgment Day remix, I don't hate it, I guess. It's alright. It's alright. It's the Prince. Whatever. I even forgot this segment happened. I'm not gonna stay on this too much either, because this feels like a repeat of what happened. We already saw this last month, right? The same exact everything. Sure, the more the Judgment Day is out now and they're doing stuff, but it really doesn't change much, man. This feud is a bit tired for me right now. It's just hard to care about what's happening here. Again, because we've already seen the tag match. Everything just like happened in a flash. There was no build-up. Finn Balor said, oh, I'm gonna hit you so hard, man, Damian Priest. And when I hit you, you're not even gonna see it coming, man. I'm just gonna destroy you. That was what Finn Balor was saying. And then he just like a couple of weeks ago did a random attack on Damian Priest that Damian didn't even really sell, and he got his ass whooped. That was Finn Balor, by the way. So I was expecting this badass angle with this badass effect, or like just a badass plan by Finn Balor. Nothing of the sort. They're implementing Jey Uso to this storyline, which is all right, cool, whatever. We'll talk about him a bit more, like I said, when I talk about the main event. But this whole Judgment Day thing is, for me, is in a huge cool down. I'll tell you that. And speaking of people cooling down, Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, I actually really like their tag team entrance, everything about them. They're actually amazing in the ring as well, but they just failed to get any type of reaction anywhere they go, even like in a ruckus crowd, like a German, crowd back in Bash in Berlin. They barely got any reaction. And at that point, there isn't much you can do. So this was probably their last match for a while. We might not see them ever again, as a matter of fact. After this, they might even break up. I don't know, but this felt like a little bit of a sneaky send-off for this team. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I can't blame the WWE for doing this. We're gonna go ahead and move on with Bianca and Jade Cargill, which the one thing I'll say about this is Bianca used to be the John Cena of this division. Now she's just kind of doing the AJ Styles Omos thing where she's helping a younger talent, sure. But the problem with that was, with AJ Styles and Omos, was that it went on too long. And I feel like it really stifled AJ Styles at one point, because before that it was doing World Heavyweight Championship main event level stuff. And after that feud, he never really properly got back to that aura, that stage. So I do hope Bianca goes ahead and gives us a bit of a main event run one more time, but we'll see. All I'm saying is don't keep this going for too long. I guess WrestleMania is not too far off now, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, Bret the Hitman Hart came out, and this was my favorite segment by far. I love the fact that Gunther interrupted him, and I love the fact that Bret Hart obviously went out there and he had something to say in his mind, but he spoke with no script. And it just makes everything feel 10 times more real, more interesting. Like, I actually wanted to listen to what he's saying. And Bret Hart by no means is a charismatic guy. I mean, this is the maximum amount of emotion you're gonna see in his face. Like, it doesn't matter if he's on a funeral, right? If he won the lottery, this is it. This is the Bret Hart face. It just is emotionless. But because he's speaking from the heart and being genuine, I just want to listen. Same thing happens with Drew McIntyre. He's much more in the moment. Same thing happens with CM Punk and any of the good talkers you can really think of. Maybe The Rock is an exception because I feel like he has more scripted stuff. But even then, Rock has wiggle room and he plays with the crowd. At least the way he delivers his promos, it feels natural, you know what I mean? So I'm a big component of that. I am a huge component of that. By the way, this new commentator, I'm trying to remember his name. It's not going to happen. I like him. I think with time, he can really cook. I like his voice. I think he has an air of legitimacy. He can stick to play-by-play, and with a good color commentator, I think this guy could be really good. I don't see this guy being a JR or a 10 out of 10 or something more exciting. Not more exciting than JR, that's tough to do, but exciting like JR, who was Mauro Ronaldo. Tough name to say. But yeah, this guy, I feel like he's rough around the edges. I mean, last week I was like talking over Wade Barrett. They were having problems. But again, given time, I feel like this guy can cook. He's already better than Kevin Patrick or whoever it was that got fired a couple of months ago. So yeah, I do see potential in him. But yeah, Gunther came out. It was a nice exchange with Sami. I'm not too excited about this feud either because I know who's going to win. And Sami Zayn has been getting on my nerves with the way he's been booked. But again, Sami, instead of feeling like a babyface, he just feels like too much of a politician. Anyhow, I enjoyed this segment. Let's keep it on a positive note. I actually enjoyed this match too. I wish Dragon Lee came out with his own theme song instead of the LWO because I think he has one of the best theme songs right now in the WWE. So I would have appreciated that. But this guy was missing for months on end for whatever reason. I'm glad he's back because he's a great star. I think he has more potential than Andrade even because he's amazing just like Andrade in the ring. But also he can speak a bit more English. Kind of like a Rey Mysterio because he's not too good at it. And Rey Mysterio is also like very, basic when it comes to his promos and it's not crazy. I really see a future Rey Mysterio in Dragon Lee if he can go consistently. I think he has potential. Like, I like the mask. I like the whole presentation. Hopefully, like I said, he's not going to go disappear for 20 years and come back randomly. If anybody knows why he was like all of a sudden gone for months on end, let me know down in the comments. But yeah, this was a nice match, man. This was a fun match. I like Dominic as well. I mean, his growth and his development has been absolutely amazing. In the ring as well, like not just as character and the way he looks goes. Like, man, Dominic is, I want to see what he's going to do and what he's going to look like in 2 years. You know what I mean? But yeah, this was nice. He blew a kiss to Liv Morgan before doing this frog splash, which I thought was pretty good. Like that small stuff. See, he's getting that now. Dominic is getting really good at all that small, facial expressions and everything. Like I said, 2 years, especially 5 years from now, I think Dominic could be a world champion. I'll say instead of could, I feel like he's definitely going to be a world champion. And I'm ready to see it. But he needs to get rid of that shirt. He needs to muscle up. We'll see what happens though. Yeah, Pure Fusion something collective. Not my thing, man. Natalia, we all knew she was returning. It was like a Natalia appreciation match. I doubt we're going to see Natalia too much after this. Or even if we do see her, doubt it's going to matter. But anyhow, it was okay. This was more than okay, though. I like this one simply because Drew McIntyre actually faced off against Wade Barrett. And just recently at All In, I think it was, Nigel McGuinness, a Ring of Honor legend, came back to wrestling. And that was so good, man. I love that. So if they do the same thing with Wade Barrett, Nexus days, after Nexus as Bad News Barrett and the Intercontinental Champion, whatever this man did, I really, really liked it. And I'm just noticing the detail right here. You guys see it too, right? Let me put this on the big screen. Let me see. There it is. I want to believe in Joe Hendry. I love the fact that this sign is right here in between them. Joe Hendry and Drew McIntyre, a feud between these two. It's more than a possibility at this point. I think it's going to happen one day in the WWE, maybe a WrestleMania match. Who knows? But it's cool. It's cool seeing this here. And I hope, by the way, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I would surely love to see Wade Barrett lace up the boots one more time. Wrestle a couple more times, actually, but I'm not too hopeful about it. I want it to happen, though, like I said. Let's continue on. Hell in a Cell announced. We all knew it was happening. Still, I think they delivered this in a really nice way. Adam Pearce, always pretty good on the mic, but he's been really inconsistent as a GM. He's been way more tolerant, right? He had to take a lot more ish than Nick Aldis. So it tends to look a bit more weak and inconsistent. But hey, again, this segment was exactly what it needed to be. This match was interesting though. Finn Balor just tried to injure Rey Mysterio. Didn't give a crap about the count. And that was it. They're trying to make Finn Balor look legit again, I guess. But I don't know if it's going to work. Because he's been on the main roster and in the WWE for so long now in a certain position on the card. Can you make him a main event star again? We're going to have to see. I don't think it's impossible. I still think out of the entire Judgment Day, he's definitely the most believable guy when it comes to being a world champion. And Triple H always made this guy, the main eventer, the champion. Whenever he went to NXT, the first time when he came back. So he has a brighter future than we might expect, I feel like. But is anybody beating Gunther anytime soon? That's a no. And here we are at the main event with the Yeet Master and Pete Dunne. This was a nice match. I enjoyed this match. Braun Strowman was a little iffy. Like when he does the train thing, I think he completely missed Jey Uso. But that might be more of Jey Uso's fault than anybody else because Pete Dunne and Ilya Dragunov sold that, choo-choo train move way better. But man, we had Pete Dunne, who's always great at pretty much any style and can adapt to any match. And then we had Ilya Dragunov, who's always very interesting to watch. He's just absolutely crazy, man. He gives it 200%. He has the same vibe as a Darby Allin in the sense that whenever he's on TV, he's going to do everything to make you pay attention. And he's going to try to wrestle like this is a WrestleMania, not just a weekly Raw show. AKA maximizes time, and I can do nothing else but to appreciate that. And Jey Uso won this one, man. He needed to. The Braun, which Braun? Not the Breaker. Not Braun Strowman. Bronson Reed. There you go. We have too many Browns, man. The winner of this match, by the way, between Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed, should get to keep the Braun name, okay? And the loser has to change it to something else. God damn it. We have too many Browns here. Vince McMahon is an interesting fella. but he was wrong about some things, but he was also right about many others. So we definitely need those name changes, man. So yeah, Jey Uso won this thing, and I guess it's bad blood now. These two are gonna have a match. The problem is, like I said, Jey Uso just keeps losing the big ones. And when he came out tonight, he's just dancing, he's just prancing around, smiling, playing too much, in other words. Felt like a Rikishi entrance, right? And we all love Rikishi. He's an absolute legend for sure. But there was a reason why he's never been the WWE champion, right? Even if he did, I don't think he's been a WWE champion. Correct me if I'm wrong. Even if he was, though, we never see him at that level. We see him at like mid-card, sometimes upper mid-card. And I can say the exact same for this guy right here, Jey Uso. That's the problem. The way he presents himself, he kind of puts himself right into that box. I'm not saying don't do the yeet. I'm not saying not smile at all and have fun and do funny moments, but dial it down. I mean, look at Roman Reigns. As the tribal chief, he was serious as all hell, but then he said some funny things during his promos. Funny things happened to him thanks to Sami Zayn and Jey Uso during segments, or Paul Heyman, or whatever. There's a way you can remain serious, act as a main eventer, but at the same time have fun. And Jey Uso is just overdoing the having fun thing, I feel like. And for me, and I think subconsciously for many people, especially the casual viewers, again, that puts him in a box. That puts him lower than where he could be. He could actually be main event Jey Uso, but I guess these are the two big problems. The way he presents himself, and then the way the WWE books him. And maybe his in-ring ability as well. He's good, don't get me wrong. And when I think about it, I'm gonna knock off the in-ring ability stuff because it's the WWE. As long as you're safe and somewhat good, the rest falls to the way you can speak, sell merch, your character, right? In AEW, if you're a crazy, good wrestler in the ring, that's another way you can go ahead and get those big spots. So not the case in the WWE. But yeah, if I had to make a prediction on this, I don't think Jey Uso is going to beat Braun Breaker as the champion. I mean, champions barely lose their titles. Logan Paul defended it 2 times, sure, but it took him like absolute year before he lost the title. I feel like Triple H really values those long title reigns. And so I think Jey Uso is going to lose this one and go do the Bloodline storyline eventually. And that's what Triple H counts on. But I don't know, will he ever be able to get momentum back on his side again to go for these singles championships, to get to this point again? It's a dangerous bet, a dangerous game Triple H is playing. Funnily enough, no pun intended. And hopefully not Dolph Ziggler, Jey Uso doesn't become the new Dolph Ziggler. But hey, that's my thoughts. Most of the time you guys tell me I'm wrong and that I suck. So let me know what you think this time. But yeah, pretty decent Raw. Nothing major really happening. And there was a lot of stuff that I didn't particularly care for that were still entertaining. So yeah, I had fun. This is a good Raw. Subscribe for more wrestling content. That being said, take care of yourself. And I'll see you on the next one.